Jim, did want to talk a little bit of Nico Iamaleava. And the question that I will ask you is he the most complete Tennessee quarterback since Peyton Manning? I know we're saying this just 4 games in, and there's a Dobbs out there and a Hooker out there, but do you think he's the most complete all around?
I'm not ready to go there yet. Is he better than Hendon Hooker? I think he could be.
Okay.
I mean, rhetorically, is he better than Hooker? Hooker was brilliant his last year at Tennessee. He was a Heisman Trophy candidate. He probably would have gone to New York if he'd not been hurt against South Carolina. What I want to see is, can Nico score 52 points against Alabama? Can he score 40-something against Florida? I need a bigger sample size before I make that statement. Does he have all the tools to be the most complete quarterback since Peyton Manning? Yes. In fact, he's got a tool Manning didn't have, and that's the ability to run. So I think he can. I think he can go down as one of the all-time greats at Tennessee. But it's just hard for me to pull the trigger after watching him play 4 games, 2 awful opponents, 1 overrated opponent. Well, 2 overrated opponents: North Carolina State and Iowa. So I need to see more of a sample size, and I need to see. Let's see what he does in Oklahoma. Let's see what he does in Norman. Well, if he lights up the Sooners, then I'm going to be swayed a little bit more. But right now, I wouldn't put him past Hooker at this moment.
All right.
Okay, so let me set up the poll question real quick. And Caleb, I want you in there. Hit the like and subscribe button. Vote on this. Nico Iamaleava is the most complete Tennessee quarterback skills-wise since Hendon Hooker, Tyler Bray, Peyton Manning. I'll update you on the results. But Caleb, roll, sir.
Yeah, so Jimmy, I get what you're saying about, and I don't want to go better yet, because as Dave just mentioned, I put Tyler Bray in this category, and I don't think any of us consider Tyler Bray a top 10 quarterback in Tennessee history as an actual, in terms of production. However, in terms of actual skills, I think we all agree he's probably top 5. So as far as skills go, wouldn't you say Nico Iamaleava has more tools than any quarterback since Peyton Manning?
No, I don't. I can't say that he's got more tools than Hendon Hooker.
Really?
Why would you?
Well, he throws a lot. He throws over the field a lot more. I mean, over the middle of the field a lot more than Hendon Hooker.
Against whom?
That's a fair point. So. You don't put it. Let me ask you this: do you think, from what you've seen so far, are the coaches doing more things with Nico than they did with Hendon Hooker?
I don't think so. Hooker was more involved in the run game so far, right? Mm-hmm. There were more zone reads in which he kept it. Look, part of my concern here also is is really good in quick decision making. All right. Hooker's last year at Tennessee, he didn't make too many mistakes decision making wise, right? He threw 2 interceptions. Nico's already thrown 2. So part of it's decision making. What's Nico's decision making going to be like when he plays very good defenses? And Oklahoma's one of them, by the way. Oklahoma's got a really good defense. What's his accuracy going to be when he throws over the middle against defensive backs that can cover? So I'm putting the brakes on this. I'm not ready to declare him all this. Do I think he's an extraordinary talent? Yes, I do. Jamarcus Russell was a talent too. So I'm just saying I want to hold off and see what he does against better competition with more with more games under his belt.
I think we're also comparing Nico to Hendon Hooker when Hooker had been around the program, was more established, and been around college football for, I think, roughly 18 years. So I don't know if you saw Hendon Hooker play at Virginia Tech. I didn't know the future was going to bring him to Tennessee. But if we made that comparison, would it be more apt? Would that be more fair to Nico and all involved?
Nico is head and shoulders better, in my opinion, than what Hendon Hooker was at Virginia Tech. I saw Hooker play at Virginia Tech some. Okay. I saw him have 2 games in which he rushed for over 150 yards. You won't see Nico do that at Tennessee or at any time during his college career. But I also think that Hooker was not in a system that really took advantage of the things that he could do. And when he got to Tennessee, he was in that system. And I think the system fit Hooker perfectly. I think it fits Nico perfectly. And that's why I think both, Hooker already did it. I do think Nico's going to put up some extraordinary numbers. But what if he throws 10 interceptions this year?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he will. But what if he does? I just needed more of a sample size before I crown him at an elite level, although I think he's got the potential to be elite.
Do me a favor, hit the like and subscribe button. Be sure you've got the notifications on. We top 6,000 subscribers, and that's thanks to you. And we greatly appreciate it. And thank you so much for being a part of the program weekdays at 10 a.m. So the poll question, Nico is the most complete Tennessee quarterback skills-wise. Since, Jimmy, where would you think it would fall? I don't know. Can you see the YouTube channel? You may know.
No, but I heard what you said. I think that your vote's going to be he's the most complete quarterback since Peyton Manning.
Well, Hendon Hooker actually leads at 53%. Tyler Bray, it's not a beer bottle throwing contest. He's at 11%. And Peyton Manning at 36%, Caleb.
So, Jimmy, let's bring up so we agree that, okay, you don't say Hendon Hooker, but we agree that let's go back to somebody like Tyler Bray. Let's talk about just raw skill set, what you see from Nico Iamaleava versus what you see from a Tyler Bray, who I maintain had, whatever you think about him as a player, the most special arm of any quarterback I've ever seen play at Tennessee. Who has more tools between those two?
Between Nico and Tyler Bray?
Yeah.
Nico. I think Nico does.
Physically?
Yeah, and there were some things about Bray. And when you think about complete quarterback, I also think of IQ, right? Isn't that part of being a really good quarterback?
Yeah, but I was talking about physical tools, but yeah.
Okay, physical tools. I thought Bray had an exceptional arm and was accurate for the most part. I also saw him in a spring game go, 3 for 23? When he was just a trophy.
Oh, wow. Really?
I
don't remember that.
No,
yeah,
I don't remember 3 for 23.
It was something like that. I mean, it was so, and the point, he didn't care. He didn't care about the spring game, so he went out there and he laid an egg. But as far as his ability to throw a football, I thought he was extraordinary. I thought he was really accurate. I thought he threw a good deep ball. I'm not sure that Nico isn't as accurate as what Tyler Bray was. And by the way, Bray he had a couple of really good receivers in Dayrick Rogers and Justin Hunter, right?
And
Right.
Cordarrelle Patterson.
I'm sorry?
And Cordarrelle Patterson is last year.
Yeah. So, and I don't care what two of them did, or all three of them did as receivers in the NFL. They were really good in college. So he had some talent to throw to. I think Nico's got some talented guys to throw to. But Bray was had a very talented arm. But, man, there's no way I'd hitch my wagon to that guy.
No. Unless you were hitching to the back of a water jet ski. Okay, I want to ask you, in today's college football, okay, this is going to be an oversimplification because we're going to say that Nico is incredibly athletic, has a great arm, and back in the day, Peyton Manning was not supposed to have as good an arm as Ryan Leaf, and we think that Peyton is incredibly intelligent. That's not to downplay Nico's intelligence, but what I want to ask you, in this day and age of college football, where offensive linemen are allowed to run about 5 yards downfield, and it's no illegal lineman downfield, where a quarterback has to run, would you rather have Peyton Manning or Nico? And Jimmy's appearance brought to you by Varner Ford.
4x4 Active, $46,529. 24 Ford Big Bend Bronco 4-door, $40,949. 24 Ford F-150 Super Crew 4x4 STX, $46,214.
Varner Ford, built for the game.
All right, so in today's college football, who would you rather have, Jimmy?
Well, I hesitate again because of the sample size.
Right.
But the way the game is played, I would have to lean toward Nico because of his running ability. Now, having said that, Manning put up some extraordinary numbers. You can still be a great quarterback in today's game without having the wheels. And Manning was a great quarterback in the NFL without having the wheels, and the same at Tennessee. But, when you've got the ability to have an RPO, when you got the ability to have a zone read, you got the ability to have a quarterback that is a running threat, that makes it harder on a defense. But there was nobody better at dissecting a defense and exploiting the weakness than Peyton Manning was. He just couldn't do it with his legs.
Yeah, I think he'd be very good just from the pocket in this offense. But you're right. That would limit what Josh Heupel would be able to do. Caleb?
Well, Jimmy, that was bold by you, because I noticed I would never take Jimmy to Vegas with me. Jimmy does not. I realize Jimmy's very rational. You're too rational sometimes, Jimmy. No, I'm kidding.
Hey, I got a quick Vegas story. First time I went to Vegas, I played 21. I played blackjack. I played craps. I played all that. And let's just say I met my minimum for losing. The next time I went, all I did was bet on sporting events, and I paid for my trip. It was a tough learning lesson, but I found my lane and I stayed in it.
Smart.
See, that's the problem. Is I love throwing dice. It's so fun, and I mean, I know I'm going to lose eventually, but really, since I don't drink anymore, that kind of takes the one thing out of it. Like if I could throw dice and just break even and have a few drinks, I was okay with it. But I don't do that. And now they charge you at casinos. It's a whole different Vegas. We need the mob to get back in charge of Vegas.
Oh, absolutely. But Jimmy, just before we get out of this, okay, so you can get one of three. Okay, right. So you can get what you think, just for a minute, bear with me. You project what you think might happen with Nico and Josh Heupel's offense. Not what you've seen, but what you think might happen. You can get that. You can get Josh Dobbs and Mike DeBoer's offense, or Peyton Manning and David Cutcliffe's offense. Which one are you taking?
Boy, that's a good question. I'll eliminate Dobbs right away because he was so inaccurate as a passer from time to time. Great runner, one of the best running quarterbacks I've seen, but that's what's held him back in the NFL. Is you can't count on him to be accurate consistently. Peyton Manning put up some fantastic numbers. I'm going to lean toward Nico, and part of the reason is they run a hurry-up offense. There's more. You run more plays. There's more opportunities. Peyton Manning, I don't know what his highest scoring average was at Tennessee, but I know it wasn't 46 points a game, and that's what Hendon Hooker did, and I think Nico's capable of doing that. I mean, right now they're averaging over 60. Now, that's not going to hold, but I think that Nico's numbers are going to be more eye-popping than Peyton Manning. So I'm going to go with Nico in that one.
Caleb, are we talking about today's college football?
I kind of made it relevant to the time period, but I guess we could say it in the way of today's college football.
I think, Jimmy, I'm going to go old school. I think I would take, even in today's college football, if you gave me the combo, a cut and Peyton, I think I would take that, and I would give up on the running ability, but because I think Peyton was just and cut were just that good. I mean, you're picking between two supermodels right now.
Yeah, and also looking back at now, the one dig against Manning was he never beat Florida, and that's only 3 games, not 4. His freshman year he hardly played. So that I hear this, Florida beat him 4 times. That's bull. It was 3. But he also scored 41 against Alabama. I remember that when they went down to Birmingham. He scored a lot of points against Georgia, but now this Georgia team is not like the Georgia team that Manning had to face. But Manning put up a lot of points and a lot of numbers against not only good defenses, but against good defensive coordinators. I mean, I remember he torched Jolie Dunn when Jolie Dunn was at Arkansas, and Manning and Cutcliffe outfoxed him. So that is a hard one to call. But ultimately, I think the numbers that Nico puts up and the team scoring is going to be greater than what Manning did. Now, is that a little bit unfair? Yeah, it is. Because Tennessee did not run the warp speed under Manning that they do right now. But if you just go strictly by the numbers, I think Nico's going to put up better numbers than Manning did.